Good day, friends, and welcome to episode 13 of the Seablock. We're going to build up the energy production in this episode to a new level because I have decided to expand this whole thing to, well, a new level, a bigger level. And we're going to double our power production globally. I was considering doing smaller measures beforehand, but when I was thinking about it longer, I felt like I want to have more power in a longer term. And since I have rearranged everything so nicely in the last episode, I considered just building the same array a second time on this side here, and yeah, just power up 18 of those steam engines, and then we're almost 16 of those steam engines, and then we're almost at a full array, getting all the water out of an offshore pump. Well, quite a long way. Usually when I play Factorio, I do that in the first, in the first hour of a game. Here, I don't know how many hours have already passed. I'm slowly moving towards a considerable power production. I hate it so much that I can replace the sand tiles with grass tiles, and so much effort going to waste. So we're going to build a longer time today. So as so many times before, I'm not having all the soil I need beforehand, but I start recording always when I always start recording when I have most of the preparations done, because this is the easiest way to do it. Okay, so while we're producing more soil, which is going to take a little bit longer, I'm going to set up the new production array right away there. So we're going to build the same thing as before. I'm going to produce green algae out of 5 assemblers here, and we're going to use the same setup as before. 1, 2, 3. There we go, parallel to each other. And then we were like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, well, I can't go into the same direction here because I would collide with the other guys, but that's not too terrible. I have another option to go into this direction here. I'll go, well, I'll go something like here, I guess. Down here, I don't know. Maybe I'm going to expand into this direction. Oh yeah, I'm going to do it like that. I have an idea in mind. We're going to do 6 on this side. There we go. The output will flow here, so I'm going to have everything I need. Oh, I need them. We are going to need 5. No, it's not going to work like that. Okay, never mind. Let's start with the input for one side before I think too much about the output. Going to lead the green algae in here. So we're going to connect this one first. So going to lead this direction, and we're going to set up a splitter here, which will filter out the brown algae for us. Because we need that not here. And there we go. I'm just going to make a merger here. Don't care too much about that. And we're going to lead this stuff over here. And there we go. Oops. So that's that. 3 for each assembler. Such an insane amount of assemblers. I can't wait for technologies boosting my assembler power, because right now this is just ridiculous. Having such amounts of assemblers on every inserters at every assembler this way. It's just mind-boggling. Okay, we need 2 for output here on every machine. So there we go. And let's pick up some resources in between. Okay, still producing the algae farms in the background here, but after these are produced, I'm having everything I need. Picking up a few units of soil in between, but well, I still have a long way to go. Okay, now then, I'm going to produce my wood pellets. Where will I do that? So possibly one easy way will be to put it really close to this area here. Come on, let's do that. A very simple thing. I'm going to let it run like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There we go. I'm just going to make a little narrow passage over here to make sure the cellulose gets everywhere, and we had an input of 2 long-handeds. Okay, so we're going to use those again. Oh, I need more long-handed inserters. Yeah, well, now the production, the handcrafting begins. Okay. Let's quickly reconnect that. This way I'll at least be able to activate this array before I have finished the rest of the production, and that's something I really care about. Okay, the wood pellets are usually... I only need a basic inserter, right? Yeah, okay. So, as much as I like the compact design back there, I don't think I'm going to... well, I miss some space here. I would like to repeat it, but this one is... well, it'll work as well. Okay, time to power up the algae farms, I'd say. I have almost everything running. Almost. There's one thing missing. I'm going to bring some more inserters for this. And of course, these guys need a connection to the water as well, or there will be no steam. Okay. I'm going to dismantle the old and unnecessary connections here. There we go. And let's connect the other facility now. Been waiting for this since the last episode. Okay. There we go. Let's check it out if everybody... oh, they're lacking power. Oh, dang it. Dang it. Okay. I somehow remembered that the small power poles were letting me down in some way with this. Okay, but apart from that, everything seems to be running. The first units of algae should be produced any second. So that's all set up. I'm now at the point we're needing the other steam generators as well. Nothing would be working without them. So it's time to power up the machines over here as well. Not needing the other side of this array yet. We're just using what we're having here, and I'm going to cut off the belt at this point because I don't want to do any unnecessary and useless overspill here. Okay, I'm just going to T-merge this here because I'm pretty sure this will work out just fine. Okay, look at that, we're producing green algae. What a surprise. Wonderful. Okay, so little control right over here, green lamps everywhere. Wonderful. Okay, we just increased our power production by quite a nice bit, and due to that, I'm able to power up my mud factories again. Wonderful. We're producing more soil now. That's why I wanted to have this little partial connection right away. Okay. But we're going to need more than that. That's why I already prepared a second array of the same stuff. But I'm going to need more soil for that. And of course also the boilers and the steam engines. So we're going to 1, 2, 1, 2. That's that. And we're going to need 8 more of those, so I'm out of iron again. Surprise, out of iron again. So, considering that I'm needing a lot more than that, we're going to do that later. Okay. But at least I'm now able to produce soil at 3 different spots at the same time. I would call that quite an achievement. So sadly I'm still pretty far away of completing this whole side here. Okay, let's drop down a little bit of ground. I carefully drop those without wasting materials here, because I want to get finished as quick as possible with this job. So setting up some proper power production in Seablock is really a brutal job. I wouldn't have expected that Seablock will be so demanding when it comes down to power production and everything. But I've read it several times. People were stating that for them the Seablock was a royal pain in the rear when it came down to power production, and I start to understand what these people were talking about. I really start to understand what they were talking about. Because the sheer amount of resources I'm needing for everything is just insane. It's just basically just flat out insane. Okay. Oh, look at that. There's one completely unnecessary piece of belt. And this one is unnecessary as well. Okay. So let's think about where I'm going to let the output of these fellas run, because we're only needing space for 6 more of them, so that means I'm getting closer to the end of this job. So I think I'm going to let them run quite parallel to each other with a little bit of space in between, just to make sure that minor adjustments can be made. And then I'm going to let that run right next to that, because the more I think about it, the more convenient it seems to me to just lead the other line of input right like this. And then we're going to expand that the easiest way, because easy is most often quite good. But for the longer plans of this place here, I'm not entirely sure. The more I look into the technology roster, the more I realize that I'm going to be needing a huge and massive island complex to even start thinking about getting everything done I'm seeing here. Like, there are so many products, it's insane. And I'm only seeing the tip of the iceberg, my friends, so I don't know. I think this might be the first series I'm doing whose episodes will reach the triple digits, because I'm really not sure that I'm going to be able to finish this series within 100 episodes. I don't believe I will be, honestly. I don't believe that 100 episodes will be enough for this. Doesn't seem like a realistic assumption to me, with this sheer amount of things that are ought to be done. But I guess at some point I should be able to speed up things a little bit by I mean, right now the production of my resources, if you look at that, I run across this place for 24 squares of soil and 18 iron plates. That's basically nothing here. I can do 12 belts out of that. So it's that. Goodbye. So 12 units of belt, that's all we can do in this time. So overall, every little piece of success is really brutally acquired here. But, well, I'm really curious how the future will look like here. I've already noticed that there are 5 levels of boilers available. So power production with steam seems to be a really big thing in this mod. So we're just considering that these are only the MK1 boilers. I'm already getting a glimpse of what we're talking about here. I'm having a pretty large surplus of slag. Let's drop that stuff in here, and crushed stone can go in here. There we are. Let's get rid of a few old materials here. Iron ore. Real iron ore? Amazing. Ah, yeah, sure. We're producing real ores now because of these. I already forgot. So, let's go into some research. Advanced mechanical refining. Ferrous and cupric ore. I don't have a clue where to get these ores. Garden processing. Let's go for the solder smelting. Looks like I was a little bit too early with the with starting the new episode. My resources are not really sufficient for what I'm up to. Yeah, well, but this depicts the everyday play experience of the Seablock quite well. So we're slowly getting ahead of things. But well, overall I'm pretty close to having everything set up. I'm just a little bit impatient, that's all. But that's mainly because it's so hard to increase certain areas of your production without power. And increasing power, as this video nicely illustrates, is just a very lengthy process. So right now I'm at least getting enough iron plates to finish the last steam engine. Wonderful. Okay. Now that's what I call progress. But sadly I've already dismantled every single piece of belt back there, so there's nothing I could I could just grab and use for myself there. No. I have to work with what I have, but I can connect those guys. What about that? And I can also drop down some inserters. How about that? Okay. I'm going to connect them and set them up already because as long as they're not running on full power, they're not going to consume as much fuel as they need to, as they can, much more so. Going to expand the electrolyzer array as soon as we're complete with the power production here as well. And this is going to be a very interesting spot again because I don't know. At this point, I'm outputting well, 6 units of crushed stone per second. Okay, we're still pretty far away from max ratios there. Okay, I can just expand that somehow. I don't have a clue how, but somehow I'll do it. Because with these ore sorting facilities, everything became so much more confusing. But one thing at a time. Okay. Hey, look at that. We're getting closer to finishing the belts here. Okay. I just hope when I have set up the last electrolyzer array that I will start to have a noticeable increase of ore production. So do I have any electrolyzers here available? No, but I had algae farms. Oh, okay. Sadly, I forgot about those. I was wondering if I would just set up some electrolyzer array in the meantime, but no. Not even that is possible. Okay. So, while we're waiting, let's go into the iron plate production here. I think that was another thing I didn't want to have here. That was one thing. So we had I had the idea of maximizing this thing here. So we're having 12 of them, and we would need 24. Okay. Just trying to understand what I did there. These are these electric ore crushers? Yes. So basically I am setting up 6 electrolyzers per ore crusher. That was the idea. Okay. So we're going to have not much work to do when we're getting closer to that, but I can't build more electrolyzers at this point, sadly. So let's research some electronics. I'm very, very far away of actually building electronics, but what the heck. So the main issue here is I think I'm going to set up a separate ore crusher somewhere else, because it's not possible to do this another time there. I never built so many really weird looking contraptions in one run ever before. There are so many spaghetti monsters here on this map, it's amazing. And I think we only started. Like, this thing is a little beauty here with the underground belts. I was very surprised when I turned it on and it actually worked at the first try. I expected to crash and burn. Okay. 4 more to go. So we're going to start saving some squares by not dropping the last tile down here. Yes, I'm that desperate. But that's mainly because I'm almost done. Almost having everything now. Wonderful. So Those are number 15 and 16, and 17 and 18 will be living here, so I'm almost having all I need. I can craft some copper pipes and use them. Wonderful. Okay. But going to be stubborn here. My goal was to finish this episode with double the amount of power than I had before starting this episode. So let's keep going. Let's just keep going. I keep finding myself looking for spots where I can dismantle belts to reuse them somewhere else. This is a very weird experience because usually I don't think about things like that ever. Okay, there we go. That's the water connection for these guys. Look at that, almost there. And all this only for a few units of power. It's insane. That's so insane. But I already looked it up. In the future of the crafting trees, there is also a way and a means of refining LJ more efficiently. So I guess at some point I can at least get more power out of the same amount of investment here, because I don't assume that I will be able to build this place smaller in any way. Oh, look at that. We're running into a problem here. Well, not really a problem. I wanted to yoink away a belt somewhere. Here, I have it. I hope I'm happy now. Okay. This place is slowly turning me insane, I can already tell. Okay, but I'm almost there. So we're at the point where I can just drop down the inserters, and until this work is done, I'll have the other pieces of soil, and when we're done with the soil, I'm having the iron plates, and yeah, the pieces are falling together finally. And electronics are almost researched, but I'm not going to invest any resources right now into something like research, because I certainly have better uses in mind for my plates. Thank you. So that's that, almost there. Put up more of that cable solid. Can't wait for bigger power poles as well. But I'm pretty sure they'll come with a huge drawback. Like, it's going to be super hard to produce the necessary materials or something like that. I don't assume that this mod will gift me anything anymore. You have to fight hard to get things from the sea. Oh, the land here looks nicely checkered at this point. Like a scrawny dog. Alright. Look at that. I think it's enough. I think it's enough. Going to produce it. I'm going to be able to produce LJ again. Okay. I think if I'm going to finish this series, it's another thing I wanted to talk about. I'll never consider anything else lengthy or tedious in Factorio anymore. I think this will immunize me against any further pain, possibly. Okay, so I'm going to power them up. Why not? No. Let's do it like this. There we go. Always put them double, because otherwise they won't be powering the other LJ farm on the other side. It's a shame. My power poles are starting to run low as well. Good thing, hey? Okay. So that's that. We're having green lights everywhere, except for the last two guys who are not having their recipes loaded yet. Let's change that. Okay. Wow. That was quite a huge effort overall, gotta say. I'm going to need another splitter here for the brown LJ as well. So I'm going to stop this for a sec here. And we're going to pick up more off the soil. So, since I'm starting to get my work finished here for today, my future plans are to prepare the electrolyzer array up there and, well, consider some sort of design or idea to do this liquefier crystallizer situation here, because this is sure super funky as well. Like, I'm really considering to reconstruct this in a way that I'm going to be able to use this and that square here as well to input stuff into the liquefier. We're going to see how this will work out, but I certainly have to reconstruct this whole area as well. It's not going to work out either. So that's another thing. And my island up here looks really small at this point if I look at that monster I'm having here right now. Well, things have escalated quite quickly. Okay, so we're going to need a output priority on brown LJ, and going to need this severed. I'm going to do it like that. There we go. Since the output is not even close to fully utilizing the pressure of this belt, I can't do it like that. There are buffers in between which should be able to handle the excess amount of brown LJ. I'm going to monitor this though. If it's starting to back up due to this, then I have to do it somehow differently. But I'm pretty sure it'll work out. Alright. So these guys are now all getting their inputs. Wonderful. So going to use the fast-handed inserters, not for their range but for their speed. It's another thing I rarely do. But since getting long-handed inserters is much easier than getting fast inserters in this mod, I'm considering it the lesser of two evils. And there we have it. Damn. Almost no work. It was done in a second. We're now producing 4 units of wood pellets per second. Is this real? 4 units of wood pellets per second? Wow. So that's that. But considering the power output here. Oh, this is really painful to configure because I was diddling around a lot, and if I try to compute it by factory, it just gives out gibberish, sadly. So I'm going to roughly estimate it here. We're producing some, yeah, well, here. I think this is pretty much what we're producing 4 units per second at this point. We're able to sustain 18 boilers and 36 steam engines. It's exactly where we're sitting at, so that's that. Mission accomplished. Let's have a look at our power grid and be happy for a moment. But it's not really much. So in the long term, I'm going to need another expansion of this array, I'm pretty sure. But whatever. Well, things need to be expanded the whole time, I guess. So this space here is filling up a little bit too much for my taste. So I'm going to run this a little bit differently here. I'm going to put this into a little buffer array in between, and we're going to output it into this direction. Let's get some more belts. This will only buy me some time, but well, brown LJ are everywhere. I just hope that I'm able to get anything done with them at some point. But oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. Ha ha ha! This is going to be something we're doing in the next episode. This is going to be the fundament of my wood production. So, but I'm going to check that out in between. Friends, we have accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. My power output is doubled. I'm having now a severely increased soil production, and this will help us a lot in the future. I'm able to expand my production here, and expect for the next episode another expansion of my metal production. I'll try to get this thing here going like I have planned it out in the first place, with 24 electrolyzers and 4 ore crushers, basically doubling my metal output. That would be a very big accomplishment, and I should feel that at this point. So this is going to be the future glimpse, my friends. In between that, I'm going to grind a lot of metal, soil, and whatnot. So yeah, feel free to drop me a comment. I would deeply appreciate thumbs up or subscriptions to my channel if you want to support me and my work a little bit more directly. If not, just let me thank you for watching this video, and I hope you're coming back for the next unit of Seablock. See you guys. Bye-bye.